Amen.
This goes, you want copy it?
Yeah.
If you come early next week, we'll talk about it. I was sort of pretty much ready today.
I figured today you were going to be busy.
You're regular, you get the...
Good. Okay, so we're learning in Lakutei Sichas Binyone Gula Mashiach, Chelik Shmois, and we're going to be learning on beginning on page 239. The reason that we're doing that is because for Pikudei B'fnei Atzmai, there's no Dvar Malchus from the Rebbe. Good. So, אפשר להתחיל?
Wait.
כן.
אפשר להתחיל.
So this evening we are learning from Lakutei Sichos B'Inyonei Geula Mashiach, Chelik Shmois, on Amud 239. And this is a Sicha from the Rebbe B'Inyonei Geula Mashiach B'Ikar B'Negeh to the Beis HaMikdash. And the learning is taking place in the Beis Knesset at Tzemach Tzedek Be'ir HaTika Be'ir HaKodesh Tzfas. This evening is Thursday night Oyer L'Yom Beis to Rosh Chodesh Oder Beis Toshin Ayin Tet. And the learning this evening is Mugdash Lezecher Tzvi Hirsch ben Yomen. We're learning the schus of the learning tonight will be l'schus Lezecher Le'ilui Nishmosei shel Tzvi Hirsch ben Yomen. So the Rebbe says, Isa b'Zohar l'Parsha Seinu, it's written in the Zohar and Parsha Pekudei, shekishaha'orin ba limkoimei, when Shlomo HaMelech built the Beis HaMikdash, or the Kavanah when they finished building the Mishkan in the desert, and they brought the Oren into its place, but the Mashmoah says that it's talking about the Beis HaMikdash of Shlomo HaMelech, and they found the actual spot of the Evan HaShasiyah. What the Zohar Kodesh says, that's the central Nakuda on which the whole world was built. And that's actually brought down in the Gemara Masechta Yuma, that there's one Nakuda where the Eibishter began shaping and building the whole world. And that's where the Evan HaShasiyah is. And not this thing that the Arabs have persuaded themselves Yamach Shmom all the years. That's not necessarily Beklal the Evan HaShasiyah. The real Evan HaShasiyah would appear as further over to the other side. But anyway, they had to, it's brought down in Isaiah that they had to work out exactly where that was. And when they did, then they brought the Oren in and they put the Oren on that exact spot. When they did that, then Posach Arena, the Oren itself opened up its mouth, the Oren spoke. Ve'omar, and it said, Zois menuchosi adi ad poi eshev ki yivisiho. That's a posik in Tehillim at the end of the Shir Amalis in Kapitel Kuf Lamed Beis. It's written over there that in reference to the Beis Hamikdash, the Eibishter said, Zois menuchasi, this is the place of my rest, adeyad, forever. Poi eshev ki yivisiah, I will dwell here because I want this very much. This is my place of my desire. Now that is an opinion of three different opinions which we're going to deal with, and that's a first opinion, but it's not mentioned who actually said that. But it's an opinion, and it's what would have been Lashon HaGemara we would call like the Tanakama, you know. It's like a Tana that's mentioned without his name. Anyway, he says that the Orion was the one that said that posik. When they found the spot of what the Zohar calls a nakuda of the Even HaShishiyah. Rabbi Yasser, another of the Chokmei Zohar, Omar, Hai Kro Knesset Yisrael Omra. He said it's not that the Oren said that posik, nor Yidden as a whole, the whole Knesset Yisrael, they are the ones who said that posik. That's what Rabbi Yasser says, and he says, Omar Hai Kro Knesset Yisrael Omra. Yeah, you have a very slight serious mention that you come late. You gotta straighten these guys out a bit, you know.
Thank you.
I can't completely throw off my Rosh Yeshiva garment. In the old days in the yeshiva, we were always very happy that everyone should come and you know. So Rabbi Yasser, he says that the whole Knesset, the whole Jewish people, they, in one sort of chorus, they said that posik. And he says, Hai Kro Knesset Yisrael Omra, Lei, B'shaita Dizbane Beis Hamikdash. At the time that the building of the Beis Hamikdash was finished, yeah, Va'ol Arena Li Asrei, and they took the Oren into its place, then all the Yidden said that posik. And they said, Poi Eshev, Ki Yivisiho, V'zois Menuchosi, Adeyad. So, it would appear that the pshat in Rabbi Yasser is that Ein Hanami, Knesset Yisrael, was talking about the Oren. According to the first opinion, the Oren said that. According to Rabbi Yasser, the whole Jewish people said that on behalf of the Oren. And he adds a few words that it was the time that the Beis Hamikdash was built. The first opinion didn't mention that. It just says that when they brought it in, that's when it happened. Rabbi Chizkiah, now there's a third opinion. Rabbi Chizkiah Omar Kuchubriko Omole. Or that posik, Zois Menuchasi Adiyad, Poi Eshev Kiviyasir. Not the Oren said it, and not the Jewish people said it, but the Eibishter said it. The Eibishter, he's the one who said it, and he said it in reference to the Knesset Yisrael. He said it in reference to the whole Jewish people. The Eibishter said, this is my dwelling place forever, and he wasn't necessarily talking about the Oren and that. he was talking about the Jewish people. And he said, this is my resting place forever, the Jewish people. Reb Chizkiah Omar Kutchabriko Omalei al Knesset Yisrael. Kad Yisrael Abdin Re'usei, but under the condition that all the Jewish, you have to look inside. If you don't look inside, you get lost. You have to, yeah, so he says, Kad, but when does HaKadosh Baruch Hu say that? If all Yidden are doing the will of Hashem, when it's a time that all the Yidden are doing Hashem's will, then he says about them, yeah, and that's what the Rebbe adds in translation, Kishi Yisrael Oishim, Es Ratzonei Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And then the Zohar goes on to say, the whole Kedain Kutchabriko Yosef al Kursai Yedi Korei. Then Hashem sits on the Kisei HaKoved. Kursai Yedi Korei means Kisei HaKoved. Hashem sits on his Kisei HaKoved. V'chayis al Alma. And he takes mercy on the whole world. Hashem. Ubrocha v'sholem v'chavivusa dekoila ishtakach ukedein oma zois menuchosi adeyad. So Rabbi Chizkiah says not just that the Eibishter said it, but there's like a whole surrounding about that. If the Yidden are doing the Eibishter's will, then the Eibishter sits on his Kisei HaKoved, and then he says, this posik, and at that time, when Hashem will say that posik about the Jewish people, then it's going to be very good, and it is, but it's going to be even better. It's very good in the world, and there's a lot of bracha, and there's peace, sholem, and chavivusa, how do you call it, love and care one for the other, of everything, and all that is to be found in the world. So, obviously, I solved the question that Rebbe Chizkiah is not just talking about, something specific in the Beis HaMikdash. He's talking, it would appear, about, he doesn't mention the Oren or the Beis HaMikdash. He's obviously talking about some intimate connection between Hashem and the Jewish people. So ask yourself the question, why is he mentioned here? He's like a third opinion about what happened with the Oren. But he doesn't really seem to be talking about the Oren. He's talking about the whole relationship of Hashem with the Jewish people under the condition that the Jewish people do his will, and then how that affects the whole world. Actually, you might be interested to know that over there in that same passage in the Zohar, it's written a very amazing thing. Just before it gets to this piece, it's written that all the Umnin and all the, how do you call it, Chakmei Lev, that they did all the work in the Mishkan, they only started, each one. Doesn't matter what his particular task was, all he had to do was begin. And then the Eibishter finished it off. So Kumtais that all the things in the Mishkan are all miraculous in their nature. You didn't just, even the people who were called Chakmei Lev, and they called Bali Umnas and that in the Torah, they didn't do the whole job. They just began, and then Hashem finished. And then a very interesting thing the Zohar Kodesh says, that until the Beis HaMikdash, or the Mishkan of Moshe Rabbeinu in the desert, until that was built up, then there was no beauty in the whole world. The world looked okay, but it didn't look, the appearance of the world didn't carry beauty. Well, that's what it says in the Zohar Kodesh. You could look at the world and you could see a big world, but you weren't impressed. After the binyan of the Mishkan and the luchas had been put inside the Oren, in the Mishkan, in the desert, then the whole world looked different. It looked beautiful. And if you wanted to notice beauty in the makeup of the creation, it was only after the building of the Mishkan. Yeah, very amazing thing. So a similar thing is repeated by this Rebbe Chizkiah. He says that when Yidden will do what the Eibishter wants, then he's going to praise that, he's going to be very happy, and that's going to cause beauty and good relations and peace and blessing in the whole world. Pretty amazing stuff. You know. So the Rebbe said, Lafia Nira B'Pashtas, it would appear that the Mischalkois Gimel Hadeyas, or these three opinions are interdividing. Shebezoya, Mischalekas Gimel Hadeyas Shebezoya Lishnayim. Even though there's three of them, but they're like divided into two main sections. Beis Hadeyas Arishoines, Ein Behetem Lepshutom Shel Kesuvim. It would seem that they're like dealing with the situation, because the Pasuk brought, or the whole event which is mentioned by the Zohar, is when Shlomo HaMelech put the Oren into its place on Har HaBayis, on the Even HaShasiyah. And so he the first opinion who's not mentioned, he says what he says, and then Rabbi Yezer says much the same thing. And so they're talking about the simple, and if you want to get a whole detailed description of this whole thing, it's put down in Malachim, not far from the beginning of Malachim Aleph. Well, there the Pasuk tells us the whole story, how they finished the building of the Beis HaMikdash and they took the Aron in. And by the way, it's very interesting, and you weren't there, we spoke about it in the Shir with the Bochum yesterday. It's very interesting that the Mishkan was never destroyed. The Mishkan, nothing ever happened to it. And it's written over there that when Shlomo HaMelech told the Kohanim to bring the Oren up so he could put it into its place, he said you should bring the oil moed with all of its kalim. So everybody said, what's the oil moed? And so Rashi and all the Meforshim say that that's referring to the oil moed, which is within Gibeon, you know, and that was the oil moed, also Moshe Rabbeinu. So what did Shlomo HaMelech do when he bought it all up? The Beis HaMikdash had other kalim. He built the whole thing. So it's written that Shlomo HaMelech actually hid all the kalim. Yeah, there was a special place that he had inside the Beis HaMikdash, like a Beis HaOitza, and he put inside there, and to this day, they're still in that area somewhere. And the Goyim never touched them. The whole Mishkan is complete, wherever it is, exactly. But it wasn't destroyed or stolen or taken away by the Goyim. That's very important. We'll see about that later if we get that far. But what it means is, just to give you a quick, interlude, a foresee of what it's about. Anything that Moshe Rabbeinu makes is everlasting. Things that Moshe Rabbeinu is involved, they never have any hefsek. You follow? Well, I see everybody's taking all this very calmly, but that happens to be the situation. And so it's the old, if you guys are really Levitic Chabadskers, like you should be, then you say that everything the Rebbe was involved in is everlasting. Yeah. What can I do? I can't really get anybody very shocked out of his chair, but anyway. So he says, Ela, Shaladaya Ha'alev, yeah. According to the first of them, we don't know whose name he was. Omaha Oren, the Oren said itself, Zeis Menuchasi Adiyad. Yeah, Uladaya Rabbi Yezer, the second opinion, Knesset Israel said that. And they said it about the Oren, but it was the Yidden who said it, not the Oren. That seems to be the main difference between them. Avol Ladaya Hagimel, Rabbi Chizkiah, Ein ze shayach lecher lepshutam pashtas inyanim shel haksuvim kashe'orim ba'alim koimai b'kodesh hakedoshim. What Rabbi Chizkiah said would appear to be a general idea that doesn't really have to do with the Oren or putting the Oren. It's talking about the Eibishter being pleased with the Yidden because they do his will. And when that will happen, then good things occur in the world. Well, that would appear to be a general idea. That doesn't seem to have to do with this whole event. So why does the Zohar mention it in reference to the whole event of putting the Aron? Bim Koimai. Abo, he said, Tzodik Lohovin. Hare Hadei Agimo ein Shayres Klau Inyan Mishkan Umigdos. Uknisis Aron and Koimai. It's like a third idea altogether. Shazeu Teichen Inyan Bazoyakan. That's what the Zohar is talking about. The entrance of the Aron to the base of Migdos. Ve'im kain, lo yahaya lahazoya lahovi kan klal as a pirush. The third didn't need to bring that third opinion here. If it wanted to mention it somewhere else. Lav Tav Kippur, when talking about putting the Aron into its place. Shaharei pirushim stam ala posik azu menuchosi. Vada Yeshnam Kama Vakama, probably other Pirushim on that posik. So put it in over there, but don't mention it here when we're talking about the Aron. What that would tend to indicate that even though it's a general statement on the part of Rebbe Chizki, it does have something to do with the Aron. So we're going to see as we go along. Gam, says the Rebbe, Benagir Beis Adeyas HaRishonas, Arimuvan Shachiluk Benayim Eino Rak Mioma Zois Menuchasi Adiyan. So the Rebbe is basing himself here on a basic principle that whenever we have in our sages a difference of opinion, the difference of opinion is never just a matziyas, who was this or what, who said this, or, things which are a matziyas, then you can find out what was it. You don't have to have a difference, of opinion. Doesn't make any sense. So therefore, if we say that the first Tana, he said that the Aron said it, and had he could, the Rav Yezer said that the Knesset Yisrael said it, but they were both talking about the same thing. That's like a machlekes in Matzia. Who said it? He said it or he said it? So it's not showing a machlekes about that. Either it was like that or it was like that. No point in having a machlekes, you follow? So therefore the Rebbe said, of the first two opinions, we have to say that it wasn't just a question of who said that, like it looks. It's written over there at the beginning of the whole Inan in the Zoya over there. It's written Shapiro da Alma v'chiza da Alma loihoya nira ba'alma. The beauty of the world and the whole, how do you call it, a view of the world, the whole mareh of the world wasn't noticeable, yeah. Ad is boni v'ishkam mashkano. He said until it was built and put up the Mishkan, v'al arena l'goy kodsho, and until the Aron was actually put inside, you couldn't really see the beauty in the world, yeah. And like it's brought down in many places in our sages, they had the Romans realize just how much they're getting from the base of Midas and how much it's helping them and assisting the whole world. They would have put legions around the base of Midas to protect it. They wouldn't have destroyed it. But they didn't realize. Of anybody who's got any real seichel, he's able to realize that the whole beauty of the world, plus we're going to see other functions, are all dependent on that. So the Rebbe said, since the Zohar says that, but once the Aron was put in its place, then it's noticeable the whole mareh and beauty of the world. V'ishtakin alma, the whole world became fixed or made perfect. The ozl, and it kept going, it kept improving. Bahu mishkana ubahu arena, due to the Mishkan and to the Aron that was hidden in the Mishkan, that's what made the world appear beautiful and as it were, fixed up, and everything appeared very different after the Mishkan and particularly the Aron had been fixed in their place. Ad shehu bo lahi nakuda. So the Zohar Kodesh, just like we quoted before, they found out the exact spot, the exact nakuda they found out. Yeah. They found out the exact nakuda where was the beginning of the creation of the world. And that was the Evan Ashasiyah, and that's where they put the Oren. Lahi nakuda de'iu yafei noiv. Well, that's like the center of the whole beauty of the world. Yeah, chedva dechoila. That has a word of simcha of everything. All the simcha in the whole creation all derives from that spot, from that point where the Evanush is. Yeah, mokim Evanush here. Kiven demoti lahosom. Once the Oren reached its place. Yeah, kedein posach haroin avoima. Then, according to the first opinion, the Oren opened up its mouth and it said, "Here's my perfect place, and I'm going to rest here forever." Yeah. Be'im Rabbi Yosef ba'aloima shelo ya'orno ma'atzeh ela knesses Israel. If that's all he was coming to say, Rabbi Yosef, it's just a question who said it, then he should have said that. He could have said, "Hi, Kro, knesses Israel." He doesn't say that. He said that knesses Israel, they were the ones who said this about the Oren. So he said, Mizeh shehu koivo v'omer, b'shodi is bonei bei migdosh v'al areina la'asrei. Then the Knesset Israel said it. From that it's mashma that he's coming with another factor. And he's saying that the etzem building of the Beis HaMikdash had a tremendous effect, and therefore the Yidden were the ones who said the whole thing, not the Oren. Because the Yidden are in this world, and they saw the unbelievable development in the whole world, so they said it, not the Oren. We have to learn like that, otherwise there's no real difference of opinion, you follow? Move on, shehu moisiv oidinim b'zeh, that he's coming to add an extra inyan, shezeh kosher lo rachim ha'oren, ela gam im hazman dizbonei bei mikdash, that the whole world changed after. It's like a new period of time is beginning. And he's not just saying that the Oren said, "This is the place where I'm going to be forever," but the Yidden saw that the whole world began a whole new period, like a whole new time. Well, then he said what he had to say. And he said the Yidden said this because they saw the unbelievable effect on the whole world of what was happening. And they saw this was the beginning of a whole new period. I know. Shakila bein gimel hadayas, said the Rebbe, the difference between these three opinions is hein mi oma, zois munuchasi adiyad, ein lochanami. It's first of all who said that, ha'oren, Knesset Yisrael oi kudsha brichu, that's one thing. V'ein, he said, alma ne'ama kosav zeh. In reference to what does the actual posig, zois munuchasi adiyad, to what is that really referring? So he said, nema kosav zeh. Al mekoimei kodesh kodshei hakedoshim al even hashasiyah. Well, that's the first opinion. Oi al zman binyan Beis HaMikdash, according to Rabbi Yosef. Oi al zman di Yisrael oisim rotzoinei ovdin ro'osei. Comes along Reb Chizkiah, and he makes a general statement that when there'll be another time, the Yidden will be doing what the Eibishter wants, then Hashem will say that about the Yidden, that I want to dwell with them forever. We've got like sort of three different views of the whole thing, not just difference of opinion who said what, but we have a whole like three different visions of what's going on with this pasuk, Zois Menuchosi Adiyan. So the Rebbe says, Avol Tzorik Lahovim, we need to understand, Toichen Achila Ben Shtei Adez, what is really the essential difference between the first two opinions? הרי לשתי הדעות מדובר כאן על דרך זמן ועניין אחד. They're both talking about one thing that happened when the Oren came into its place. And they just differ as to who said it and what they were referring to. But he said basically they're talking about the same event. As if so, im kain, mahu toichen, what is the pneumius and the toichen of the difference that they differ? Behamira, imi shal arena, whether the Oren said it, or whether the Yidden said it, Knesset Israel said it. What does that really matter? We have to say that they're dealing with something very pneumic. And we've already hinted at that, the Hainu, that the whole world improved according to Rabbi Eliezer once the Beis HaMikdash was built. So talk about that. Why do you have to say that Knesset Israel said this posse, and he says, no, the Oren said it? What does that really matter? You know, the main thing is talk about the Teuchen Pnimi. So we need to understand what is really behind all this. And then he says, the next thing we need to understand, Ma'anogea b'deya ha'rishoina ha'agdoma al derech binyan ha'mishkan. What do we need to have the whole big arichas, you know, that Yidden didn't finish, the Eibishter finished all the malachas, and it was all an amazing nisim and everything. Why does the Zohar have to tell me all that? And then tell me that the Oren was the one who said, this is where you're going to be my everlasting manucha. Hari apostle zois manuchosi adiyad, medaber al derech hagas Oren lebeis hamidah. According to what you're saying, that's about the actual moment that the Oren entered into its place. What do I need to know all the background about all the Mishkan that was miraculous and how people didn't finish anything else, the Eibishter finished it all? What do I need to know all that for? Okay, that's the question. So the Rebbe says, Babio, what is the understanding of all this? He said, Achilo ben Gimel Deyas, we could suggest, is Mahu Ika Ha'inyan B'Mishkan Umigdash. We could say that these three opinions are really talking about something very pneumius and very basic, and that's what led them to say what they did and make introductions or refer to other inyanim, plus what actually happened at the moment of putting the inyanim. They're talking based on what is the whole function of the Beis HaMikdash. So he said each one has got a different opinion as to what is it all about. So he said, according to the first opinion, Harei B'Lashon HaRamban, it's well known that the Ramban, he holds that the whole purpose of the Mishkan, the Rebbe's got several sichas about this, that he holds the whole purpose of the Mishkan was a moki manucha for the Shechina, Shehu HaOren. The Ramban says that the whole Mishkan and later the Beis HaMikdash were built to be a place to keep the Oren. And they were like a continuation of Matan Torah. The Mishkan and the Beis HaMikdash were a hemshech of Matan Torah. And what was Matan Torah? That the luchos were given to the Jewish people. So there was a place of preserving that, and that was the whole purpose of the Mishkan, to make it an everlasting, living memory of Matan Torah. That's what the Ramban said. So Kumta is that the Ika of the whole Beis HaMikdash is the Oren. That's the whole Ika. The Oren with the Luchos. That's the whole Ika. So he says, yeah, that the whole Ika of the first opinion is the Oren. The Oren said it, and the Oren said, this is going to be my everlasting resting place. All was the Oren. So we could suggest that that's hinting at the Ramban, that he says the whole purpose of the Beis HaMikdash is the Oren. So he said, Ladas Rabbi Eliezer, it would be different. He's going according to the Rambam. He said, Ike ha'inyan shel ha'mishkan v'ha'mikdash hu she'iyeh Yisrael mokim kavua la'avodas Hashem. Yeah, B'Lashon HaRambam, Bayis mochan liyos makrivim boy korbanos v'choyigim elov sholef piyomim b'shona. The Rambam writes right at the beginning of Hilchos Beis HaBechira. It's famous. that the whole union of the Beis Hamikdash is a place where you'll be able to offer up the korbanos, and the Jewish people will have a central place where they'll be able to offer up korbanos to Hashem, and they will come 3 times a year with special korbanos as offerings to express the inner simcha of the Yom Tov 3 times a year with the korbanos. Is that the whole Beis Hamikdash is a place for Yidden to serve the Eibush. Or the Yidden are going to serve the Eibush. And that's what the Rambam said. That's the purpose of the whole Beis Hamikdash. When he said that the Yidden said this, Pasik Manu Chosi Adiyad, then that means that they're referring to the other opinion, which is that of the Rambam, that the whole purpose of the Beis Hamikdash and the Mishkan is a place where to serve the Eibush and bring him korbanos. Not like the Ramban. The Ramban, he said it's a place to keep the Oren. Ladas Rebbe Chizkiah, he said, according to Rebbe Chizkiah, the third opinion is the Ike Inyonim Shal HaMishkan, Umigdoshu V'shochanti B'soi Chom. It's put down, yeah, how do you call him, the Shloh Kodesh. He says, B'soi Chom means B'toi Kol Echad V'echad Meyeh Yisrael. The whole purpose of the Mishkan was that Hashem wanted to dwell in the Jewish people. Not that he wanted them to serve him, not the ego was he wanted to dwell amongst the Jewish people. That's why he said, V'shochanti b'soichom. That's the whole purpose. Avamela hamanuka shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu koshura b'zeh shehu shoichen b'toik Yisrael. V'lochein hu mafarish kudshu bariko omalei al Knesset Yisrael. The Eibush says that my everlasting manucha is going to be with the Jewish people. And that's going to be the Ikar. Yeah, the Rebbe is going to tell us in a minute, that's going to be the Ikar, the Beis Hamikdash Ashlishi. The Yosid Love is going to be the expression of the union of the Yidden with the Eibush forever. And that's going to be the whole Ikar of the Beis Hamikdash Ashlishi. Yeah. So he said, since we have a cloud that whenever there's an apparent difference of opinion, really it's all divine opinions. That's even in the Gemara. So the Rebbe said, and even more than that, he said, Nidan Didan. Since these are opinions that are brought in the Zohar, then the Zohar in another place says that it has no machlokas. Everything that's mentioned in the Zohar is not a machlokas. Least Tamon, there is not there lo kushia v'lo machlokas. There's never any kashas and no machlokas in the Zohar. In the Pnimis HaTorah, that's what the Zohar says. So Kunta is that these 3 opinions are not really differing. It looks as if maybe according to the Lashon of the Gemara, sometimes we say that there's machlokas. One just says one thing, and the other says the other thing, but they don't really Hierarchy Kulam Yeshnon Binyan Amigdash. Eli Yesha Okain, Kol Adeyas, Kayomas Boivan Ikri. They're all important and essential of a payol, and they all have a practical effect. El Shahim Medabri Moimus Gimos Manim. We could say they're talking about 3 different periods in history altogether. So he said, how does that work? So he said, Binyan Amigdash, in reference to the Beis Hamikdash, there are 3 periods. It says, Rebbe Ish Baklolas Gimos Manim Binyonim. The first one is the Mishkan. The Mishkan was in the desert. The second one is the Beis Hamikdash B'Yerushalayim, and that was divided into 2. It was the first and the second Beis Hamikdash. And then there's the Beis Hamikdash to Liyosid Habayas Ashlishi. That's a third Beis. So he says there are 3 different periods or state in the Mishkan and the Beis Hamikdash. Yeah? So what he's going to say is that these three different opinions are talking, they're not different, they're not having a machlokas. They're each mentioning the significance and the speciality of three different periods in the whole history of the Mikdash and the Jewish people. Oh, so here the Rebbe says an amazing. This is also hinted in the statement of our sages, which is brought at the beginning of our parsha, which is Parsha Pekudei, Ela Pekudei HaMishkon, and it's written Pekudei HaMishkon, Mishkon Ha'eda. It repeats it twice. So it comes along Rashi, HaMishkon, Mishkon, Shnei Piyomim. This is Rashi. Rashi said that the word Mishkon is mentioned twice. So he says, Remez Lamidosh Shenismashkein B'shnei Churbanim. Rashi said that comes to talk about the Beis Hamikdash, which was taken as a, how do you call it, a plate, how do you call it a mashkan?
Collateral.
Collateral. Oh, collateral. Was taken as a collateral, that's a racist. Yeah, collateral by the Eberster in the two, how do you call it, destruction. If the Beis Hamikdash is taken as a collateral, then what's it do with a collateral? You're not allowed to take the collateral permanently. You're only worried that the guy's not going to pay you, or he doesn't have the money right now. So what you do is you take a collateral, and you hold that until he'll pay you the money. When he pays you the money, what do you have to do? You have to give him back the collateral. The whole end of a collateral is that it's taken in order to give back. And it includes that the person will be basically beseder. He will basically pay you, and then he'll get it back. If we're saying that the Eibishter took away the two Bati Mikdash in Yerushalayim as a mashkon, then that means two things. First of all, he's expecting that the Yidden are going to pay him up. In other words, they're going to all be beseder, and they're going to do tshuva, and everything's going to be fine. And they're going to get back the Beis Hamikdash. Not chas v'shalom that he took the Beis Hamikdash away. He's holding it as a, how do you call it, a pledge? The Old English calls it a pledge, a collateral. Kunta is that the whole inner of the Beis Hamikdash, it's somewhere, and like the Gemara says in Rosh Hashanah, it's in heaven, it's all going to come down. Says the Rebbe, well, that's a wondrous hint of Rashi right at the beginning of the parsha. Nimto, she'akosu kan medaber al derech alav, ein mekuyete midei pshutei al derech hamishkon. First of all, it's talking about the Mishkon, and then beremas al derech Mishkon shenishmashkein. It was taken as a collateral, ubamela. Gimel, Gamal Derech Beis Hamikdash, Delios, and it's also talking about the third Beis Hamikdash. Because if it's talking about a mashkoin, then that's going to come back. So, but Derech Ramos is talking also about the Beis Hamikdash Shashlishi, the Beis Hamikdash Delios. So, he says, why? Ki me'achas yakos of Maramas, es chuv namish v'loshan mishkon. In other words, taken as a mashkoin, harimuvan shachruban einu shuhu, Beis Hamikdash roshan v'sheni shakosu kan koilom, umaramzon be'echod, remez lamishkon shenishmashkin shnei chobonin, yizbatel chas v'sholem, elazehu boivin shel mashkoin. It's a collateral. Hamashkoin yoytze mereshus haloive v'nimtza boivin zmani yetze lamalve. It passes from the borrower to the lender, because the lender's worried that maybe he's not going to get his money back, so he takes a collateral. So all it's done is just change hands, but it doesn't get lost. On the contrary, he has to keep it because he wants eventually to question the lawyer to give him the money. So therefore he said, nimmt ze boven man Yitzram over. V'sof sof yuchza el aloiva. We'll go back to the borrower. He said, Kain hu gamba nidan dadan. So it is in reference to Beis Hamikdash. Shamikdash Rishon Osheni Rak Nishmash Kain. It was taken as a collateral. Yeah, B'shnei HaChorbanim. Uli Akri say Yuchza Yisrael. Yeah. And what is that? How's it going to come back to the Eden? Beis Hamikdash HaGimel Tali. It's going to come back in the form of the third Beis Hamikdash. We had two Chorbanim. Over those two Chorbanim were only a mashkin. That's Rashi, Mefuris, at the beginning of the whole parsha. If it's only a mashkin, it's still there, and it's waiting to come back to you. All you got to do is pay up. If you'll pay up, then you get it back. Yeah? So that's going to happen. That's good. The Avis is holding it, and he's waiting to give it back. Yeah? What happened? What happened? What do you mean? It just went out? Who's the maven in this? Yishai. אולי אתה יכול לדעת מה קרה עם זה, כי הבטריה מלא, אז למה, אתה יודע מה, אולי צריך איך אומרים? למחוק את מה שהיה מקודם. אתה יודע איך לעשות את זה? אני שכחתי מזה. הבטריה? אבל זה, אני מילאתי את הבטריה שעות. סימן שיש משהו טוב. במילא קומדייס, the three Bati Mikdash are all following one the other. Yeah, the Rishon was a mashkoin, the second one is also a mashkoin, and they're going to be given back in the form of the Beis Hamikdash Shlishi. What follows what he said, that all the three Bati Mikdash Yerushalayim are all really one thing. They're only real one inyan. And the same Beis Hamikdash is B'Shamayim, but when Hashem will give it back, he's going to give it back in a much more elevated form than when he took it. You know? That's the only difference. And we're going to see that also the Mishkan, but in the desert, it's like the beginning of this whole process. So it's like all one amazing mitzvah to build the Beis Hamikdash, and it all starts in the desert with the Mishkan, and it just continues all the way through, and they're all connected one with the other, and the Avis is keeping it all in heaven, and he wants to give it back. All he wants is that you, and that's what Rebbe Chizkiah says, when the Yidden are doing what the Avis has said, then everything's going to be good. Yeah, so everybody says that Mosai. Yeah. So the answer is that it's surprising how you can really affect the whole Klal Yisrael. Yeah. And there's a whole series of inyanim that the Rebbe said at the time of the 6-Day War that we can be Mazaki Yidden all over the world, that they Ki'ilu are keeping the mitzvah of Tefillin. And you can do that with other mitzvahs. If you have a mind, you are literally causing Yidden all over the place to, as it were, keep mitzvahs. Yeah. So it's not as an impossible thing as what we think, that all the Yidden will be doing what they ever still wanted. Yeah. And it can happen. If that's going to be like that, if we keep moving and making more mitzvahs for everybody, then it's the moment, that's it. Then the Avis is going to give back the mashkoin, he's going to give back the collateral. Oh? So the Rebbe said, Im Kain, it's all one long continuous inyan. He said, what's the difference in detail between each unit? So he said, Achila ben Gimel Einyonim, Mishkan in the desert, Migdosh, or Migdosh Taliyasid. What's Kila? There's three different things and they occur at all different times. So they must have something that differs them. So he said, B'mishkan, nifal bi'ika l'chol rosh, Menuchas HaShechina Shehu HaOren. He said the Ikar in the Mishkan was Taki, the Hashrosh HaShechina in the Oren. Like the Rambam time is. So Derech Hagav, there's going to come out a very amazing chiddush here in the difference between the Ramban and the Rambam. Yeah. But Uchaponim, the Mishkan is taken like the Ramban says, that the Ikar was the Shechina through the Oren. Yeah, Shezeh lo yehoyo lifnei Kain. But before that, there was no dwelling place in the world for the Shechina, that's where it was. He said, Inyan ha-menucha, menuchosi adiyad, shel ha-oren, ba'ofen kavua, haya be'ikar b'mishkan. That the oren had a place where to rest, and like a permanent place, or that was in the Mishkan. Shahari boy hoya oren bimkoi mei kol zman mesek kiyum ha-mishkan. The oren was in its place as long as there was a Mishkan acting. The Oren was in its place. And that in the base of Mikdash didn't take place, because after a few years, Yoshiyahu HaMelech took the Oren, he hid it down under the base of Mikdash, and in the base of Mikdash Hasheni, there was Beklal no Oren there. So the Ikar resting place of the Oren was Tafkid the Mishkan of the desert. So he said, Oren ba'oven kabuya habika b'mishkan. Shari boya oren b'mkoi mekol zman meshek kiyum ha-mishkan. Ma'ashehim bebati hamigdash. Hari b'migdash sheini lo hoya oren melechatchila. There was no oren beklal. And he said, b'migdash rishon lo hoya oren kol zman shahaya hamigdash kayom. Ki b'sof zmanei gonzo Yoshiyahu. When it came a certain point, Yoshiyahu said to take it down because he foresaw there was going to be a Churban. And he said, so the Oren didn't have a complete rest. It was moved around. It changed places. And in the Mikdash Hasheni, it wasn't there before. So where did it have a permanent resting place? Davki in the Mishkan. Zeh b'negeh le-Oren. That's in reference to the Oren. מה שאין כן בעניין המנוחה בכלולת המשכן והמידות, he said that's in reference to the Oren, or in reference to the menucha of the whole Mishkan compared to the Mikdash, Harei Adarabah, it's a bit the other way. It's a Mishkan tiltalu mimokim lamokim. They carried the Mishkan around from one place to the other. V'hu nikra oyel. It's called a temporary dwelling. Oyel is just it's moving around the whole time. Shaloi ha'yaboy inyan ha'kaviyas. It wasn't a fixed thing. V'ha'menucha, and it didn't have any rest either. Ma'ashe inkein b'bati migdosh she'binyonim ha'ya kavua b'mochim echad. The bati migdosh, they were a menucha in their very etzem, what they were. They never moved around. And on the contrary, the Rambam brings Barigas at the beginning of the whole Beis HaBechira, that once the Beis HaMikdash is built, that's the only place where you can serve Hashem. You're not allowed to offer in other places, because that's the fixed and permanent resting place. That the Mishkan has a Ma'ila Legavi de Oren. Over the Mikdash has got a Ma'ila Legavi de Etzem Minah, the Menucha of the Etzem Mikdash itself. So he says, Omnom, Beis Bati Amidas lo hoyu binyonim nitzchim. He said, Einoch Hanami, the two Bati Amidas were not everlasting. V'heim nitlu mi Yisrael, and they were taken away from the Yidden. Lam reisha hamokim nisha b'kiddush, even though according to the Rambam, the place is still holy. The place where they were is still holy, but the Etzem Mikdash is taken away. Shechina eina b'teila. That's the famous version of the Rambam, that the Shechina eina b'teila. So you can't take away the Etzem Kedusha mitzad the Shechina. That's there all the time, even though the building's not there. And that's why the Rambam person, you're allowed to go up onto into the Sheter of the Har HaBayis, and you have courage, because the whole Kedusha of the Mishkan is still there. The Rava doesn't hold that way, but that's how the Rambam holds. אבל מילא, אבל הבייס השלישי יהיה בניין נצחי. Yeah, the base of Midrash Shlishi, that's going to be perfect from all sides. First of all, the Aron is going to come back, and that'll be for everlasting there. And the etzem building of the base of Midrash Shlishi will be everlasting and nitzchi. In the first two inyanim, the Mishkan and the Batei Midrash first and second, there are differences. That had a mile legabi the Aron, and that had a legabi the etzem kviyas, as a mock for Avodas Hashem. But the Beis Hamikdash Shlishi, they will have both milas, both legabi the Aron and both legabi the nitzchiyas of the whole mockim of Avodas Hashem. Oh, so that was the Rebbe. According to that, we can now understand the three, as it were, opinions, even though we pointed out they don't really differ, which are mentioned in the Zohar. He said, his name is not mentioned. He says that the Oren opened its mouth and said, Zeish menuchasi adiyad. He said the posik, and he said, this is everlasting menucha. Bo behemshech l'mashu kosu is boni ve'ishkam mashkana va'ohal arena l'goy kodsho. He said what he says, that comes in a hemshech to what the Zohar Kodesh says over there, that the Beis Hamikdash had been built and had been put up, and they brought the Aron into its place. Ki ha'inyan halazeh shel menuchas ha'mishyachis be'ikar laha'orin nifol ha'scholosei ve'ikroi b'hamishkan. Or that the Aron was brought in through the building of the Beis Hamikdash. And the whole building of the Beis Hamikdash made it possible for the Aron to have its menucha. And therefore, he says that first opinion that the Aron was the one that said the praise, and he said the Zois Menuchosi at the end, because it was be'ikah for him the perfection, the Aron. Avo, he said, Ein ze menucha b'shayach lahabayis, the Mishkan itself, gufa. Yeveloch einema b'negel Yisrael, shel eize mokim ubayis heim ba'u, ki loi bosem ela menucha ve'ela nachelo. It's written that you didn't come to menucha, meaning the Jewish people, until the Beis Hamikdash was built. In the Mishkan, there was a perfection legabi the Aron, or legabi your menucha and everything. You didn't come to menucha until the Beis Hamikdash was built. And therefore, according to Rabbi Yisa, the Yidden are the ones who said that posik, because they didn't find their emes of menucha until the Beis Hamikdash was built. So he said, "B'hadei habeis b'zoya meduba al derech zman hamikdash." It's talking about the time of the Beis Hamikdash, not the Mishkan. But shaited is boni bei mikdosho. What bei mikdosho means the Mikdash, not the Mishkan. Va'ol harona la'asrei sha'oz nasa mokim binyan kabua la'asroa shashkina. Ovamela higiu li'Yisrael el menucha. Yidden came to the emes of menucha. El mokim kabua muchen la'avoida, for them to carry out their avoida. Oveloshen Rambam, kiven shenivne hamikdash b'Yerushalayim ne'asru kol ha'makoyim. You're not allowed to serve the Hashem anywhere else, only in the Beis Hamikdash. Ne'asru kol ha'makoyim es kulam. Livnois, behen bayis l'Hashem. You can't build a bayis l'Hashem only in that one and only place. There ain't shom bayis l'doirei doiras, and there's no such thing as a place for serving Hashem. Alidei Yidden, ela b'Yerushalayim bilvad, ubahar HaMoriah, on the Har HaMoriah, which is the name for the Har HaBayis. So he said, Shebo nema vayema David Yeah, וזה מזבח לאוילו לישראל. David used the expression when he was preparing the Beis Hamikdash. He said, this is the place for Yidden. It's going to be a place to offer up korbanos, and that's for the Yidden. Zeish menuchosi adi Avamela. Contains that the second opinion is talking about the menucha of the Beis Hamikdash, which is a place of serving Hashem, and that involves the Yidden. Because if you don't have the Yidden, you can't serve Hashem. The ones who serve Hashem are the Yidden. So their menucha is essentially connected with the building of the Beis Hamikdash. So the second opinion is not talking about the Oren, but it's talking about the Yidden having a perfect, permanent place where to serve Hashem. So therefore, the second opinion mentions the Yidden separate. You know? But there, Hagimu Meduba, he said the third opinion, Al Koponim Maruma, if it's not said openly, at least it's hinted at. He said, V'chein Shleimas, the Beis Hamikdash, and the same will be when they'll have the Beis Hamikdash Ashlishi. Al Dera Beis Hamikdash Hagimel Deliosi, we're talking about the third Beis Hamikdash. Shezeu Azman Yisrael Yasu Es Retzoinoi, V'kavonosei Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu B'Shleimas. When Mashiach comes in, the Yidden are going to be keeping the rotten of the Eivester perfect, yeah? So then he said, Kad Yisrael Avdin Re'usei, when they will do the rotten of the Eivester, Hainu B'Shleimas, yeah, Habayis Nitchi. Then it's going to be forever, yeah, the bias. Shelo Yinotum Yisraeli Olam, it won't be taken away evermore from the Yidden. Then Hashem, he will say, I'll Knesset Israel, in reference to the Yidden, because I made the whole thing originally that I want to dwell amongst the Jewish people. He said, that's going to be the everlasting situation. He said, Zois Menuchosi Adei Ad, I'm going to be everlastingly dwelling amongst the Jewish people, because that was my ultimate purpose. Yeah, so he said, Ki Ashra Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu B'Yisrael, Hi B'oven Shel Menuchosi Adei Ad, and that is the Menucha V'Nachla Nitzchiyaz B'Gilui. That's the whole Menucha Nitzchi B'Gilui. But how is that going to be expressed? Be'ikah, through the fact that the Yidden are going to be like a dwelling place for Hashem. He's going to dwell in them because they do His will perfectly. He's going to dwell in them, and that was the whole Ikah purpose, and that's what it's written by the mitzvah. Asuli Migdosh, that's the mitzvah. V'shulchanti b'seichom, and I will dwell amongst you. Is a similar. That's the ultimate, like perfection, that Hashem and the Yidden will get together forever. And that's going to happen in the Beis Hamikdash Ashlishi does. So that's Rabbi Chizkiah. So he is talking about the Beis Hamikdash, because he's talking about one shleimus of keeping Hashem's will, and that's going to be when Mashiach comes and builds the Beis Hamikdash Ashlishi. So it does have to do with the Beis Hamikdash Ashlishi. And so here we have the 3 days, the first about the Mishkan, the second about the 2 Mikdoshim in Jerusalem, and the third about the Beis Hamikdash Ashlishi. But there's no machloka. They're just talking each one about something different. There's no real difference. And the main thing is, we want Mashiach now. So how are we going to do that?
So 2 questions. One, so I have 2 questions. One, in the second Beis Hamikdash, there were 10 things which were missing, which were not in the first one. So even though that there was like a decrease in the Nisim, the Shekhinah was still...
The Gemara says in Masechta Yoma that there were 5 main factors missing in Bayis Sheni, like Gabi Bayis Rishon. And so there was a Gilui Shekhinah, but not on the same level as it was in Bayis Rishon. You follow?
Yeah, fine. And also, does the Rebbe explain it in Avodas HaAdam, the 3, the Mishkan, the Mikdash and then La'asid Lavai? Does the Rebbe, in the continuation of the Sikha, explain it in Avodas Ha'adam?
About Adam?
Does the chiluk between the Mishkan, the Mikdash, and La'asid Lavai, does the Rebbe in the Sikha explain it in Avodas Ha'adam?
In Avodas Adam.
Or do you have any idea
listen,
of what it would be?
He does to something, even in the Hemshech here, because he said the whole inner of the Oren is Limud Torah. And so the different ways that Yidden can relate to Limud Torah, that reflects the three different states.
Yeah.
You follow?
Yeah.
And he talks about the whole inner of Button.
About the polish, so we want,
Yeah,
we want, we want the
no.
scorer. We want
Yeah, Turkish.
Taklish, Yahia
So he does talk about the Veda in the Limud Torah, you follow?
Yeah.
And there's three different, like, sort of levels in learning Torah.
Thank you.
Okay,
Hello. We're going to be saying Chazak, when it's Chazak. What's his name?
Goldberg.
Goldberg?
His name is brother of Yanai. Brother of Yanai. Oh my God, he has a word for you. You do a time of bomb?
You have to say, you have to say L'chaim. Let's say L'chaim. Well, I tell Shira, hello. Guys, could you give out the wine or something? There you go. Give out the wine, huh?
Bye, Rabbi Gafni. Thank you so much. We have eight mezainis and gafen, shakal.
Shalom Aleichem Mordechai. Shalom Aleichem. Broken my boy. Very good to see you.
Eight. Yo, I think we have all the brachas right now. Yo, what up?
You had all the brachas. Now you're getting the back.
Oh. I mean, you're still on camera.
He's going away. Oh. You could have stopped him, Daniel. When you met that guy, so told him, come back.
Come back. Back to oh man.
You want something down there, Ben? Would you like some? You want a date?
Can I get a date?
You can have a date. Yeah.
No. I was just joking. Like a date.
You gotta make you gotta feel like you have, they say.
Is that true?
No, it's a,
Yeah, it's
date.
fruit. Yeah, it's dates.
Oh, I thought you said prune. I thought you said prune.
Ah, no, fruit. No.
Oh,
Oh, but
You got
it's
wise
dates,
living
yeah.
off, dude.
right.
Like, it's not your. Why are you saying sorry? It's not your fault. What? No, I mean it's fine. Like I don't think anyone's drinking that much. It's busy, you know. Wow, we pushed it up all 7 ruffles. This is crazy. It's amazing. What? We have all the ruffles, but it should always be the gila like this right now.
Yes.
We should chop them up and eat them.
Chaim, Chaim.
Amen.
Well, there's fruit. Kind of very plush.
Amen.
Can you hear us on?
So I think it's only appropriate that we should wish Yehuda a mazel tov. Yeah. And it should be in a short time. The chosn will be called up this Shabbos. He's by the river. But
He was, now he's back.
he's come back.
But he was last Shabbos, he was called, last Shabbos.
Anyway, if you're by the river just a few minutes, that has a lasting effect. Yes.
We just learned that.
So it should be in a short term mitzlachas.
Yes.
Yisrael lo nachas emes nachas me leiv sameach pnimis leiv beis Hashem. Techar chova kol begashmias. And afterwards chovas hadas. And they should build a warm Kiddush house.
Amen. Extra soon by you.
And you should have a lot of nachas.
No, we'll see, you know? You never know. Listen, you got what you wish for, my friend. You know? When's your birthday? Yod Aleph? It's the first day that the Megillah is able to be read is Yod Aleph. No way. Amen. It says in Gemara Megillah, Yud Aleph is the first day that Megillah is able to be read.
So, Yaakov, sit down for one. Chaim, was?
אנחנו אומרים, ברוכים הבאים, ich bin da ganz auf
No, I'm coming to that. I haven't, I don't miss out on my customers. So listen,
Good morning.
we have
How'd you say?
a whole three-pointed group for saying L'chaim. First of all, we have Mordechai Baruch Hashem. He's come back from a difficult and trying journey, and he's come back. And Baruch Hashem, we meet him Gesundheit and Freiligkeit, and Davke on Rosh Chodesh, Order, Beis. So
He
it
was
should
just by
be,
the Rebbe. He was just by the Rebbe yesterday, 2 days ago. He was by the Rebbe.
you're by the Rebbe also? Wow. בוודאי יש טעם במירס לחיים.
The next day, that would mix in the oil on the way to the airport.
And when
Ja.
איפה הרגשת יותר מפות? זה השאלה, this is the question.
אילו ואילו.
שתי מספרים, בייס רבנו שבבובל,
Anyway,
off the record.
הרגשתי רב אופן באוil, אז אל תדבר.
I'm sort of,
I'm not, I didn't
Cool.
say anything. I didn't say
יש
anything.
פרצח. Wo der Rebbe in 770 zu Bad Moyo. Gewinnt in 770 und Bad Moyo. Fragt er, wo hat gefühlt mehr, he saw.
Who speaks Yiddish in the English here? Kavua.
Chaim.
Chaim. אז במילא,
That's it, and the
טוב,
body of the,
די.
the movie.
אז
Bottom of the magazine here.
במילא, that's one good reason to say
We love
L'chaim.
all of you. Don't worry. L'chaim, l'chaim.
To be makabel, it's hard work to say.
That's the main thing.
Because of this.
Main thing is to love each other and not judge each other.
So,
Anyway, we just learned that there was.
so that's the first reason. First to say L'chaim, the Baruch Hashem, we makabel pnai Mordechai b'simcha v'tov levo.
Amen.
The second reason is that, like we've already mentioned, that Yehuda is about Simcha, and Beis Hashem, the Simcha B'tuv Levo, he's marrying off his first married child, Baruch Hashem, and it should be in a Yom Shor Tevu, Metlachas, and the Rika was just talking about the Migdash. A Jewish home is a Migdash Ma'at. And it should be a binyan adayad, Beis Hashem, just like the Beis Hamikdash Ashlisi that we just learned. It's going to be the Yamasa Kriyas and the Yamasa, Gilei Elokus, and the Yamasa doing of Avis as well, Kolo. So the third reason we have to say L'chaim is that Yankov at Yatzait, after his father, three heroes, Ben Binyamin, and Beis Hashem, we all wish that the Neshama should have an Aliyah, but at the same time, we wish that the Neshama should have a Yerida. But we're not chas v'sholem a Yerida, בפנימיוס העניין, אלא אדרבה, דווקא הירידה שיש בה תכלית העלייה, the most ultimate aliyah of all, that you be able to come down. And like we just saw, that's what Rabbi Chizkiah says, that the Yidden are going to be betachlis hashlemas of Ovdim Ru'usai, so Hashem is going to dwell amongst them, V'sholchanti b'seichom. Oh, that's the Diyamas Yerida, that's the Yerida. Not only Hatzoyrach Aliyah, over that Yerida is the greatest Aliyah, Be'eter. So that's what we wish at Tzvi Hirsch Ben Yoman, that's what he should have, together with Ali Yidden, take him here at Mamish.
Amen.
Thank you.
Chaim.
We can make a shechiyanu on this. We can make a shechiyanu.
You're gonna have.
Yeah, the problem is,
He doesn't know what you weigh.
it's a total b'mashkela. Dat wassen de hand. So nice.
What's the question?
No, the winter, you won't see
Anyway, whatever. I don't want to throw any cold water. That's as
But there's Costa Rica, big road reef.
Mel, I just want to make a point by way of a bit of a Verbringen type point, and that is that we brought down the Shem HaZoyah HaKodesh over there, where the Rebbe quotes from. That the Zohar Kodesh begins by saying that all the Umanim and the Chokmei Lev, they only began things. All that they did was just a beginning. Over the completion of all the Kain. Now that's what state on in the everything was through the Avishah. The Avishah doesn't work. Finished it off. It was only necessary to begin. So I just want to tell a brief story from the Midrash in Koheles Rabbah. But the Rebbe brings it down in several places, and it's a well-known story. But I'm sure everybody's heard about it. But it's about Rebbe Hanina ben Doisa. So Rebbe Hanina ben Doisa, he was a Tana, and he was a Be'erah at the same time as Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, a large part of his life was when the Beis Hamikdash was still standing. And he lived the last period of his life after the destruction of the Beis. But he saw the Beis Hamikdash. So did Rebbe Hanina ben Doisa. But Rebbe Hanina ben Doisa, he was a Malumad ben Nisim, the Gemara says. He was very accustomed to Nisim, you know. All sorts of amazing things happened with them. But, you know, Nisim. So the Gemara tells, the Medrash over there in Koheles Rabbah, the Medrash tells that once Rabbi Hanina ben Doisa walked out onto the street, and all of a sudden he became full of a tremendous rotzen, a tremendous desire. He wanted to give something for the Bedek HaBayis. The Beis Hamikdash was still standing at that point. He wanted to give something for the upkeep of the Beis Hamikdash. Like we learned in the Haftarah last week that Yoya Shemela started off the whole idea of Bedek HaBayis, you know, looking after the upkeep of the Beis Hamikdash. So he said he would like to give something. All of a sudden he sees on the street a beautiful stone, you know, a beautiful shape stone. And he said, oh, I would like to give that stone to the Beis Hamikdash. And then he said, the only problem is I don't really have the koyach to carry that all the way to Jerusalem. All of a sudden he meets up with 5 strong-looking Yidden. And they say to him, Shalom Aleichem, Rebbe, what's your in it? So he says, maybe you guys would like to help me. I would like to get this stone somehow to Jerusalem, to the Beis Hamikdash. So they said, no problem, Rebbe. We'll take care of the matter. Just put your small finger on the stone. Just touch it with your finger, and we'll take care of the rest. So what happens, Rebbe Hanina ben Doisa put his finger on the stone, then all of a sudden he finds himself in Jerusalem, right alongside the Beis Hamikdash, and it appears that these 5 people were actually Malachim in disguise. Yeah, they were Malachim. And they came to help Rebbe Hanina because he was Malumad by Nisim, you know. By him, Nisim were, yeah. And so once it was alongside the Beis Hamikdash, then the builders in the Beis Hamikdash, they were in charge of the maintenance. They came out and they carried the stone in and shaped it and got it ready and everything to be part of the Beis Hamikdash. So the famous question is, if they were going to carry it anyway to Jerusalem, that's what they did. But Poyo, Why did he have to put his finger? They said you have to put your finger on the stone. You follow? Why do you have to put his finger on the stone? So there's an old saying in Yiddish, mit have two legs and a finger. You have to put a finger into the job. Yeah, but once you put your finger into the job, you have to know that finishing finishes the Eibishter. And really most of the job the Eibishter does. And the main thing you have to do is you have to put a finger. You've got to have a part. You've got to do something. But you don't have to be concerned that I'm going to have to do the whole thing. If you have tmimas and emes bitochen, then Hashem will look after it if you do your little bit.
Like the famous pinhole.
Yeah. Now that I heard from the Rebbe himself one time when I was by the Rebbe, and the Rebbe said it on numerous occasions. So, if we take a look in this week's parsha, apart from what I just quoted from the Zohar over there, what the Rebbe spoke about, there's a whole amazing thing that Rashi says that after they finished making all the kelim and getting everything ready, it's written that they brought the whole Mishkan to Moshe. Vayaviu es ha-Mishkan el Moshe. Yeah? So Rashi says, you know, why are they bringing the whole Mishkan to Moshe? And the Targum Yonasan over there, he says that Moshe was in the Beis HaMidrash. He was sitting in the Beis HaMidrash. What would he be doing, Moshe? He's sitting in the Beis HaMidrash. And Aaron, a Kohen, and there's a Kenim are also there. And Moshe Rabbeinu is teaching them all the halachas that are going to be in the Mishkan from now on. All the different halachas of the Kabbanis and how to run the Mishkan. All of a sudden, all the Yidden come in. I mean, all the Yidden, all the Umnim and all the people who worked on the Mishkan. And they're all carrying pieces of the Mishkan into the Beis HaMidrash, and they drop the whole thing in front of Moshe Rabbeinu. And they say, we have a gewaltige problem. So Moshe Rabbeinu said, what's the problem? You know, they say the Kroshim ain't koya b'shum odom, lahakim is a Kroshim. Mikoyivdom. That's the way Rashi learns it, and that's the way it's written in the Medrash Tanchuma. There's some who learn differently. They learn that Kroshim weren't so heavy, but the Medrash learns that they would give all the heavy. And so even Moshe Rabbeinu, the Eibishter wanted he should put up the Mishkan, but even he couldn't lift up because of the koiva, that Kroshim. He said, Rabbeinu Shalom, ain't koya b'shum adam, yeah, lahokim es a Kroshim. That's what Moshe, Rashi brings in the beginning of Ravi. So what did the Eibishter say to Moshe Rabbeinu? He said, Asoik ata b'yodelcha, do something with your hand, Kroshim yakumu mi'atmam, they all get up on their own. You follow? That's what Rashi said. So all Moshe Rabbeinu did was he touched one of the Kroshim with his hand. Yeah, Kilo, he's doing something. The whole Mishkan, all the Kroshim got up on their own. And that's what's written a little bit later, that B'yom HaRishon, B'chodesh HaRishon, yeah, Hukam HaMishkan, it got up on its own. Hukam is passive, you know, it just got up on its own. And Mufurish Rashi, everybody knows about it. Oh, here comes that the whole Mishkan, so ask yourself the question, comes along the Sifsei Chachomim, and he asks a very simple question. And he says, but wait a minute, later when they travel all around with the Mishkan in the desert, who put up the Mishkan? Not Moshe Rabbeinu. He didn't put it up every time. Who put it up? Were the Levium. And the Levium are ordinary people, in inverted commas. So if it was impossible to lift up the Kroshim, how did the Levium do it every time when Moshe Rabbeinu wasn't involved at that particular moment? How did the Levium put it up every time? You know what he answers? He says a very Siddur Shazach. He says that Alidei Moshe Rabbeinu Paul Shazei Yukam Me'elo Pam Achas Kaka haya kolapi omim. That whenever they need, they do the same thing. They just put their finger, but not because of their power, because Moshe Rabbeinu, he was poyo. That happened once. It happened. So, why did I say that's a very sifsei chacham? Because we learn from that if you're involved with the Rebbe, and the Rebbe, he's the one who makes the whole Mishkan stand up. If you get involved with the Rebbe, then anything the Rebbe does has a continuation and it lives on. And it's all the time reoccurring. It reoccurs, it's a living thing. And that's what we see, but again to what the Mittler Rebbe brings down in the Sharia Tshuva, that's why Moshe Rabbeinu wasn't allowed to go over in Eretz Yisrael. It's an amazing thing. Even though he didn't go in Eretz Yisrael, it was a punishment. But everything Hashem does is, on the one hand, may look gevuradik, on the other hand, it's got an amazing bracha to it. I could bring you all sorts of examples. So what happened with Moshe Rabbeinu? So the great Sforim say that had Moshe Rabbeinu built the Beis HaMikdash, it could never have been destroyed. Because anything Moshe Rabbeinu does is everlasting. So what could be better, you know? So they say, and the Mittler Rebbe mentions it there. They say that had Moshe Rabbeinu built the Beis HaMikdash, then Hashem wouldn't have been able to destroy it. If Yidden had got out of order in any detail, then Hashem would have had to take it out on the Yidden and not on the 18 Bavonim with the Beis HaMikdash, because he wouldn't have been able to destroy the Beis HaMikdash. Because Moshe Rabbeinu made it. Therefore he couldn't let Moshe Rabbeinu go over in Eretz Yisrael. A whole amazing pshat. Whole amazing thing. This is brought down in several Svarim, not just in Sifrei Chabad. It's brought down in several Svarim. And Nimtza, that anything Moshe Rabbeinu does is everlasting. It's nitzchi. It's got a miraculous aspect to it. It's like the completion of whatever minimal effort man is required to make, and then it all happens on its own, and it's lasting. That's the way it stays. You follow? That's the whole inyan that the Rebbe is involved in, this whole inyan of the Beis HaMikdash and all the campaign and everything, what we might call it for Mashiach. It's all the Rebbe. You know, people say, what are you making such a fuss about? We're not making any fuss about Mashiach. It's the Rebbe. It's the Rebbe. He's the one who made it. There must be an everlasting, unshakable, how do you call it, permanency about this whole thing. Because it's all Moshe Rabbeinu. And it only requires that we do a certain amount, and the rest's going to be done through the schus of Moshe Rabbeinu. So it is also with all the things in your life. Get the Rebbe involved, and all you have to do is like make a beginning, and then Hashem miraculously, Mina Shemayim, helps out. You know, through Moshe Rabbeinu, through the schus of Moshe Rabbeinu.
The first day that the soldiers came to ascent was Gimel Tammuz.
I'm sorry?
14 years ago. The first day that the army came to ascent, to try out ascent to see if we could host all these soldiers, 10,000 soldiers a year, was Gimel Tammuz.
I don't know, what about Gimel Tammuz? I'm sorry, I don't hear. But anyway, it doesn't, Gimel Tammuz doesn't have to do with
The
it.
Rebbe, we just said that.
Gimel Tammuz doesn't have to do with it.
Although the Rebbe,
Doesn't have to do with it, because the Rebbe left us over the Igrish Kodesh. And through the Igrish Kodesh, we can make a kesher, and we can get hoiros. And you see it the whole time, people get the most amazing hoiros from the
the
Rebbe.
Rebbe gave the bracha to ascent on Chai Shvat, Tafshin Dalet Mem.
Okay, what did he say?
Chai Shvat.
Chai Shvat.
Topshin Dalet Mem. The Rebbe gave a bracha to ascent. And the bracha is Ad Hayoim. Hoylech v'moisi b'oyim.
Oh. So you see yourself. Yeah. Anything Moshe Rabbeinu gets involved in, it has an everlasting permanency to it. Omer, that's the ending, you follow? Omer, that's what we're going to do. We're just going to do it the Rebbe's way, Be'ez Hashem. And then take him here, we're all going to be together. And that's what Reb Chizkiah says, according to the Rebbe Seeger, what we learn. That he says that's the perfection of the Yidden and the Eivishter together. And that's the whole ultimate purpose of the Beis HaMikdash, V'shochanti b'seichom. Asuli migdosh v'shochanti b'seichom. That's the whole Yidden. Aber take you miyad mamish, Beis Hashem, miyad now. L'chaim, l'chaim. And here we see it from this amazing Rashi. Now, why do I say that's an amazing Rashi?
Sure.
Yeah. There's some opinions that yes, yeah. But according to what I said in the name of the Midler Rebbe, Lav Davki, that he would have been Moshiach, but he would have built the Beis HaMikdash in a permanent way. You follow? It would never have been able to be destroyed. You follow? But Ein Economy, some people hold that that's one of the reasons why he didn't go over, because it wasn't yet the time for the Gula at that point. You follow? But Ein Economy. But Mela Nimtelafi said that if you look in the Gemara, there's a different opinion about how they put the Kroshim up all together. And yet nonetheless, Rashi brings down the Medrash Tanchuma, and some people ask how come he leaves over the Gemara and he brings a Medrash Tanchuma. No, the answer is that Rashi wanted to show the Pneumias of the whole Inyan of our relationship with Melech HaMashiach and with the whole Inyan. And therefore the Medrash Tanchuma is from Loshen Nechumim, Loshen Hadikot Nechoma. It's brought down. The Rebbe brings it also. The Rebbe brings it several times. Loshen Tanchuma is from Loshen, the Amoira, that his name was Rebbe Tanchuma, indicates the Nechoma of the Gula. Yeah. And therefore Rashi brought down that opinion, Davke. And I found in another great Mephorash that he wants to say that it's not really a problem with the Gemara. You can learn the Gemara in a slightly different way, and then it's all like one opinion. It's very amazing. I just can't go into the whole thing now. But there's a certain opinion that learns that really there's no difference between Tanchuma and the Gemara. So then it's a very good, as they say in this, Yamot is a very good that Rashi goes according to everybody. And what he says is L'kuli Oma. Everybody else that way. Good. L'chaim, everybody. L'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim. And how's the old saying?
He's already on there. We have to hear him twice.
Yeah, be prepared to two leg and a finger. Yeah, it's an expression in Yiddish. Be prepared to put in your finger and do your little bit. And the rest there was,
one more l'chaim.
and the Rebbe, they will look after.
One more l'chaim to the Chassan and Kala.
Yeah, l'chaim, chaim.
One more l'chaim to the Chassan.
Only one.
Chassan and Kaleb.
Huh?
So the Chassan and Kaleb.
Oh,
Shabbos,
so
Chassan.
we hereby wish Amos l'chaim, l'brocha, for the Chassan and Kala, and they should be zeicha to build a binyan adiyad, bedugma to the Beis HaMikdash HaShlishi, and their house should become niklal in the whole movement of all the houses up to the Beis HaMikdash HaShlishi.
Amen.
Take them yad mamish, all of us together. Chaim, chaim.
Yom Kalois Moshe Lohakim es Hamishkan.
Yeah, Loshen Kala, yeah,
Loshen Kaleb.
yeah.
Kala
Beis
chesed
Hayom, Rashi brings it, Beis Hayom, O Yekenesis Yisrael v'Kodesh Bokum K'mo Chosim v'Kalim.
Kala nechesed l'chuppah.
Yeah.
The whole Mishkan
In
also.
Pasuk Yisiso, the Rashi brings it, yeah. V'amela L'chaim Yehuda and a lot of nachas and a lot of bracha. And Derika mitek simcha to live on.
And he should get drunk.
Chaim.
I just have to make a phone call, so call me when you're standing there and then I'll run down.
Tov. So,
Get Shabbos, get Kodesh, get Shabbos, Baruch Hashem.
amen.
Big back, okay.
What's the inyan of this song? Of the song that we just sang?
What was that song?
No, it's Vayihi b'mei Achashverosh Hamelech Mehoidu v'Yakosh Sheva v'Esrei Meo Medina.
Yeah. So, it's brought down in the Pirs of the Tzemach Tzedek on the Megillah
Yeah.
that Achashverosh, the Medrash says, that Stam Achashverosh b'kol Megillah HaKodesh Baruch Hu. Melech Sha'achris v'Reizes Shalom. And he was Moilech al Meah ve'Esrim Sheva Medina. That was the same what we find by Sorah, you may know that she lived Meah Sheva ve'Esrim Shonim. So he says that Meah is dinim from Keser, Esrim is dinim from Chokmah Bina, and Sheva is the Sheva Midas. Yeah. Ivamela, at the Kolat Achashverosh, Kodesh Baruch Hu is miyachad all the madrigas together. You follow? And the whole union that Mordechai Esther through the Mesiras Nefesh and through the Pashtas that didn't recede upon themselves, well, that was miyachad all the madrigas and brought about a bittul telekus and the klal l'sayshtav.
Go right here.
Yeah, so it's an inyan of Yechudim, basically. The song is an inyan of Yechudim, basically.
Yeah, voilà. Gina from bittul kol olam telekus. Yeah.
I'd like to tell one short story about my father. I'd like to say something about my father.
Something about his father.
Dr. We'd love to hear.
His father?
I'd
Yeah.
like to say
You want to tell a story?
Yeah. But my father was Sri Hirsch Ben Human. He was not at all a religious man. And he grew up in America in a time when it was not a desirable thing to let people know you were Jewish. So even though he was Jewish, and even though his parents, they came from Europe at the time of the war, but my father didn't want anybody to know that he was Jewish, so he changed his name. His name from my grandfather was Chayrsky, and my father in America, he became Charles. And he became comfortable with the last name Charles, Herbert Charles. And he went in the world as an assimilated Jew, and he did everything he could to deny the fact that he was Jewish. That there was no mezuzah on our home, there were no Yantovim, we didn't associate with Jewish people, they weren't very socially acceptable in our world. And my father was only interested to enter the world of the corporate wasps and the money of America and to deny everything that was Jewish. And that's the home I was brought up in. And one time, from out of nowhere, somebody called my father up, and he said to my father, he said that he was in a business meeting, and they were talking about my father in the business meeting, and the people in the meeting, they said about that dirty Jew. They used the word dirty Jew to refer to my father, and this man called on the phone to tell my father that some people had called him a dirty Jew. All of a sudden, my father got so angry, got so furious, he got in his car and he drove to the business office where the people were, who were all goyim, to tell them off that they had no nerve and that he was a proud Jew and they should know and they should be ashamed of themselves, and he's yelling at them. And the point of the whole story is that no matter how far away a Jew gets from his Yiddishkeit, if you rub him the right way, he becomes a Jew again. Zvi Hirsch Ben Yeoman, L'chaim.
Chaim, beautiful.
It really is.
If you rub him the right way.
Can't hide it. Can't hide it.
Should have knocked it out.
It's just one more word, and that is that, what's your first name again?
Alexander.
Alexander. It's all story in the Gemara about Alexander. It says Shimon HaTzadik promised Alexander that all the Yidden would be called by that name, and so he left the Beis Hamikdash alone. You know the whole story, yeah. So anyway, Alexander asked before, you know, how does all this come into Aveda? So the truth is that at the end of the Sikha, the Rebbe says that it's all got to do with Torah. The Ike Indian of the Beis Hamikdash, according to the Ramban, was the Orim. Yeah. So he says it's like three different interrelations of Torah and our lives and the way it affects our lives, and the way Davke through the Indian of Limud Torah, we're going to be Makarov and Mazaris, the Gula, Betakli. And so just very briefly, the first one is the Ika, the Manucha of the Orim in its place. So you've got to learn Torah in a way that your real Manucha in life is caused through learning Torah. You understand? You find your way and you find your rest and your, as it were, your permanency through learning Torah, which means that you devote every moment you can to your learning. The second opinion, they say that the Yidden said in reverence of Vedas, Asher. So you got to learn Torah, not just in a way that it's like a manucha and a fulfillment, but you're all the time wanting to serve Hashem and offer up a new offering until you go further and higher, like a Baal Tshuva, like, you know, the restlessness to improve and go higher the whole time. And Rebbe Chizkiah, he talks about after you've reached the Taklis HaShleimus and you, as it were, one with the Eibishter, then the whole thing is you and the Eibishter together. Yeah, and literally, you and the Eibishter learn together, you know, like it's brought by Rabbi Shimon and others, that they learn Mamish Kavyohu with the Eibishter. And by Ali and Kolo Yosef, Shoina, Kodesh Baruch Hu, Yosef is Shoina Kenegdoi. Vamela, it all comes out to the Poyel Mamis. We have to devote our time to learning. You know, we've got to get involved in Torah. In order that's the whole, you know, somebody gets involved in learning. Vamela, you know, he forgets about all the, it could be that he's got good reasons to be concerned about something, or if he's involved in learning. And the ganze etzem sein is in learning, you know, and you know, things all sort of take a different shape, you know. How do you call it? You're philosopher, you rely entirely that it's going to, you know, work out. And that's exactly what Hashem said to Moshe Rabbeinu, you do your little bit, and as it were, we'll look after it. You follow? And the same with the Rebbe. Yeah, you just, you know, do a little bit what the Rebbe tells us and build yourself in the Rebbe will help us, you know, and in the koyach of the Rebbe, it'll all come together, take it from me out. That's the message, Be'ez Hashem. And that will lead to chazak, when it's chazai, Be'ez Hashem. The Emasach is chazak.
Okay, so you guys heard the first half of the story, but vis-a-vis what Rabbi Gaffney is talking about, I just can't help myself from doing a little show and tell now. A little show and tell. You heard a few weeks ago, I told you the story about how my daughter sort of made her way back into the Lubavitch fold after being outside for a good while, and her chassan also did the same thing. Yeah? The man who became her chassan, now he can't hear so well. Anyway, you can see pictures. This is the chassan in 770. Never before to the Rebbe, because he's getting married.
I can't see from here, is it?
That's the chassan.
That's the chassan.
Wow, he looks a different person.
That's it, okay, now hold on.
He looks a different person.
Yeah. Right, from the other night, you met him.
Philip Plath.
Right? He's zooming. Okay, hold on a second.
Philip Plath.
Hold on, one more.
Yehuda, you're on the way, boy.
Hold on a second, one more thing. Okay.
Get the dancing shoes ready. That's it.
Hold on, guys.
You're on the way, my boy.
When's the wedding?
The wedding is down center.
Hey, what happened with Penzi? He's not around
Make a
anymore.
public announcement, invite them.
I did it already.
Make it here they
There's
are.
Mendy trying on his kapata. After he got his aliyah, he was in a kapata store. a few
Where's
days
this?
later. This is Mendy in
Crown
Crown
Heights, Crown Heights.
I think.
By the Rebbe.
Oh, very nice. Wonderful.
Okay,
Publicity for the public.
and then a day later, this is a day later. Trying on his hat, all right?
A Borsalino.
This is not a guy who would necessarily have done any of this if it wasn't for whatever. Okay.
Nobody be here without
That's my show
Yes.
and
the
tell.
Rebbe.
That's my show and
If
tell.
you come to the base Rabbeinu, then you find your way.
Yeah, there you go.
That's base Rabbeinu, Nishta Shebabova. It's base Rabbeinu, very swiftly be Yerushalayim.
Amen.
Chaim.
Now,
Good. Okay, guys.
Okay.
Have a good Chodesh and a good Shabbat. Chazak, chazak, when it's chazak.
Can I ask one more question, Rabbi? Sorry. I just can't resist. I have so many questions. I just can't resist. I have so many questions. Is there an Inyan Al Pi Chasidis of Chazak, Chazak, B'nis Chazek at the end of every Sefer? What's the Inyan Al Pi Chasidis?
Oh, so there's a whole Dvar Malchus from the Rebbe.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a Dvar Malchus